Safety groups are doing health risks at work, IOSH are doing no time to lose, other organisations are not jumping on the bandwagon, but jumping on the health topics. What can we do? For people of my age, you know, so it's probably too late for me. I was 12, 13, throwing bricks through asbestos roofs, worked in the motor trade for 20 years, probably breathed in all kinds of chemicals and dusts and everything else. But the idea is, how can we stop occupational illnesses in the future? So Locker Project was born, learning occupational health by experience and risk. It's not about stopping the work taking place, it's not about stopping people actually doing the work. It's about making sure that they do it safely, do it in a safe manner, and if we can embed it into 16, 17-year-olds or new workers now, and that's who it was primarily aimed at, if we can target that group now, the actual rates of occupational illness in the future will drop. That's the plan. Then what we realised was, it didn't really matter. This could be applied to any age group, anywhere, at any time. And it is about coming up with different, practical, not talking about legislation and regulations or anything else. It's about coming up with simple, practical demonstrations and information and instruction and training that we can pass to people, and we can actually get that message out there. The presentation that I've got, it includes a slide that says health and safety should be fun, shouldn't be boring. I think we've heard that already this morning. And we've all been to presentations. I like these IOSH ones because they're quite good. But I've been to IOSH, well not IOSH, I've been to presentations where even as a guy with 20 years health and safety experience, the people over the front and you go, oh my God, you try teaching that to 16, 17-year-old kids in the same way, you just switch off. Has anyone ever seen the Tom Hanks film called Big? Where he starts off as a 12 or 13-year-old kid and he goes to the fair and he makes a wish and he wants to be grown up. And the next day, he's a full adult. And he gets a job in a toy shop, then he goes on the development team, and he goes into a meeting, and they're showing a new toy. And he picks it up, and it's a transformer, it's a building that changes into a robot. Or a robot that changes into a building. And he puts his hand up and he says, I don't get it. I just don't get it. That's the problem that we have with health and safety. Trying to get that message across. From my point of view, I work in a college, so I've got access to those 16, 17-year-old kids, and some of the stuff that they've come up with has been amazing. It really has. If you have a look for hashtag Locker Project, we've got some key rings. I'll put them around while Mark's talking in a minute. Go online and have a look. Some of the stuff that's been shared, sun awareness, asbestos. We've got a cracking little film, if I can get it working, 2-minute film. Hand-on vibration, which we're talking about today. Really simple visual way that you can show people the damage that happens, but in a safe way. That's what Locker Project's about. But hopefully you'll take something away with you today that you can go back to your workplaces and you can use, and you might even come up with a simple idea. You might have an idea in your head now and you might think, you know what, we do that at work. And that would be a really, really good idea that we can share with other people to get the message out there. Mark.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I won't use mic, I can voice project. How can I put you at risk? How can I get you to experience risk without actually not identifying that major factor of you becoming at harm or a hazard with that risk? With the Locker Project and taking that concept, you can. Like Dave mentioned, he said he's focused on colleges and getting the younger workers. Well, I focus on SMEs, small medium enterprises. I'm National HSQE Compliance Manager for Ground Control, cover the construction division, highways, roofing, charge point, rail fencing. It's massive out there. Cover England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. I'm always out there on the road. And when I turn up on site, I could say to the guys, right, you're my workforce, you're all my workforce. We need to focus on control of noise at work. Right, I've got the regulations here, 2005. I've got a brief guide on controlling noise. I've got another one saying, don't lose your hearing. And you're thinking, have we got to listen to this again? We've heard it. And there's only so much information that you can take. But how can I distract, dispute, inspire you in a simple, visual, practical way? And that is what the Locker Project is about. Because they say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't change their ways. But with the Locker Project, I believe, with that longer lasting message and that practical engagement, you can actually do that. And you get people involved. And that's the most important thing. Now, on the tables there's some earplugs. Could you get 2 each out, please, and put 1 in your ear? Pass them round, those earplugs. And when you put an earplug in, get your hand, put it behind your head, open the canal up and put that earplug in. That's it. Put that earplug in. Is it in? Thumbs up. Okay. Mainly, the reason I've got you to do that is because what I'm going to tell you and share with you, both Dave and I, about the Locker Project, leaving that longer lasting message, is I don't want it going in one ear and out the other. Okay, so that's going to stay with you. For the next bit, take the other ear and put the earplug in. Has anyone got hearing aids? Yeah? Okay, if you've got hearing aids, you don't need to do that. Okay, so how does that feel? Yeah, can you hear what I'm saying there? Yeah, some of you can still hear that. But it reduces, doesn't it? It reduces that. Noise-induced hearing loss at work, now you can take them out. So I want you to hear what I've got to say. Noise-induced hearing loss at work doesn't just affect you when you're in the workplace. It affects your personal life. Now, today, I'm as deaf as a post. I've got 5% hearing in this ear. I wear a hearing aid. And I've got about 35 in this ear. They've told me that I've mostly got about another 3 or 4 years before I'm completely deaf in this ear. But the good thing is, I've seen surgeons and I've had appointments, and what they've said to me is that we can drill a hole in the back of your head and put a bone-inducted hearing aid in there, so you will still get some hearing. And sometimes, you see this device in the back of the head. I'm 55 this year, and I don't really fancy having a hole in the back of the head with a hearing aid, and there is other operations where I can have some bone removed. However, when you lose your hearing, it's gone. Okay, there is, with age, a decrease in that. But what I want to get over to you today is that you can't change that. You can never go back. And if I had a choice now from that high-paid job and getting on the mortgage ladder and paying my house off, I would rather take the other option. Because in them days, there's some hearing protection, put them in, or you'd have the earplugs. It wasn't suitable and sufficient for what we was doing. But what is noise? Well, it's a sound, especially if it's loud, unpleasant, or causes a disturbance. So what I might think be a noise, you may not think. You might think something's a noise, and I don't. So I don't think this is a noise. But if I come over to you here, it becomes unpleasant, it becomes disturbing. So what? Sorry about that. What I may think is pleasant, you might not think is very pleasant. So there's lots of different things, but it's not just about having hearing aids, because it affects your whole life. I've been in a relationship with my wife for 28 years. It's a good job that we've got spare rooms, because now I'm in one of them. And what I have as a companion in that room to justify my tinnitus continuum. Now I've got it, I'm focusing on it, your brain focuses on that, and I've got tinnitus severely in this ear. But for me, at night, I have uninterrupted sleep throughout the night, because as soon as I take my hearing aids out, the tinnitus kicks in. It starts whistling. Because if I fall asleep with hearing aids in, I'll get woken up because they whistle. So one of the things I have is that. TV going. The next thing I have, when that doesn't do after a little while, then I need to have that noise that in the background. So the next thing I have is that. But then I get woken up with a cold face, cold shoulder. So then you have other options, which I've gone down these. You have another little device with birds singing, heartbeat going, a white noise. So it sounds like an inner tube going down. So I have that. Then I tried something else. Pillow speakers that you put in your pillow. But then you get woken up with it digging in your ear. There is no escape. It's there. Sorry? What, in the bedroom? That's interesting. Okay, so there is many different things. However, it does affect people in different ways. And for you, you can get water flow, you can get the sounds, there's loads of different apps there, and it works. But then, when you start getting that hearing loss, then you go through the process of having your hearing aids fitted. And you start off with a hearing aid. The first one I started off was the big old chunky one from the National Health. That was one with a big bit that goes into your ear and it expands your ear canal. Then you have the next one, which they said I had a choice of colours, so that's slate grey. So I said, as I'm getting older, I may be able to use that. So that's another one. So then you go for another hearing test. Then you get a little bit more of a slicker approach. And then the ones I've got today are even smaller. But it still doesn't compensate that. In rooms like this, when I'm always staring, because when you're talking to somebody, you get 1-2 seconds eye contact. But when you have a conversation with them and you're staring, after about 2-3 seconds, it starts to become a little bit uncomfortable. So for me, I always say, pardon, I'm sorry, I've got hearing loss, and if I stare a bit, I'm doing a little bit of lip reading as well. So really what I want to focus on is that. And when I talk to the workforce, by using the locker concept, opening that locker door and getting hearing, noise, vibration out, whether it be silica dust, whether it be well-being, in them lockers of them subject areas. And it's about that visual, simple, practical involvement. And when we look at the hierarchical controls, eliminate, substitute, engineering controls, PPE is right down at the bottom. We've got our administrative controls, but just above that we have our engineering controls. So if we think about, I forgot another little, that was back in the day, another little telly there that I used. If you think about...
Just before you do that, who wears ear defenders when you put the bins out? When you wheel your bin out? Yeah? Who puts ear defenders on, who puts earplugs in? When you go home tonight, have a look at your wheelie bin. Somewhere on the back of your wheelie bin it'll say 89 or 96 decibels. You wouldn't allow it in the way. It's a test figure. You know, we were talking before about standards and test figures and everything else. Go home tonight and have a look at your wheelie bin, it'll say 89 or 96 decibels on your wheelie bin. On the top maybe there, but square, but just something that actually just everyday activity. It's everyday activity. And again, it's a simple visual, practical demonstration that you just show people. Yeah?
And that, yeah. Is that the decibel level when you get inside and jump down because they don't do a regular station? You've got to get more in it?
Well, to be honest with you, Bob, to be honest, you know your hierarchy control, eliminate the risk.
Yeah.
You're white.
Yeah. and these classic examples about, with the locker project, about that engagement and identifying that risk, and thinking about elimination. Is anyone's birthday in it today? No? Okay. Never mind. You'll see why in a minute. Can you hear that? When something isn't mounted correctly, and you haven't got that correct mounting from an engineering perspective, it makes a difference. It makes an effect. I did pick the wrong one up because when I said about happy birthday, you'll see why now. Okay, so but just by having that mounted on a hard surface without anything there, it would increase the decibel level. So thinking about, can you borrow that? Thinking about mounting makes a difference. And that is one of the important things about the locker project, getting the students practically involved and engaged. Pass that round, have a go, and put it on the table, hold it in the air, and that has an impact. Right?
From my point of view, in teaching students, one of the first things we do is when we're talking to them about health and safety, and I'm going to crack an example, it's on my slides, but I can't do slides through. We talk about noise. What is noise? Difference between sound and noise. Mark gave me an example before with this harmonic microphone. A student came up to me and said, that's like being a Liverpool fan. Yeah, being a Liverpool fan and a Man United fan. And if you're a Liverpool fan and You'll Never Walk Alone plays, you love it. But a Manchester United fan will think it's noise. And the same the other way around. We play Glory Glory Man United, or we're forever blowing bubbles at West Ham, or whatever it's going to be. If you don't support that team, it's noise. Yeah? Just a simple example. We'll probably come up towards the end of our 20 minutes, aren't we?
You've got about 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So one of the other demonstrations that we've done, one of the other questions that we asked the students, and I used this at BRA a couple of months ago, so if you were at BRA, I apologise. We asked them what spray booth. Oh yeah, what clearance time was in a spray booth. So if you're spraying chemicals in an area, what is clearance time? It's the amount of time for all the particles to go out to the atmosphere. And this student said to me, that's like going to the toilet, isn't it, and saying, I'd give that a minute if I was you. So, 2 weeks ago, I went to see our science students. Our science students did a cracking experiment a couple of years ago with face masks and dust and talcum powder and things, just to prove that FFP3 masks were the best ones. And I went into them and said, look, I'm going to this session conference in a couple of weeks, and we need to do something about on-down vibration and show people what the effects are. And I couldn't have asked for a better demonstration than when Jill stood up here before and did this. That's what I'm going to do now. So we came up with these, and we've all used glow sticks. Little glow sticks, they're 15, pack of 15 for £1, you know, doesn't cost anything to do. And we got three different colours, 2 gloves. Put them inside, and the gloves, you can do them without the glove, by the way. You can do the experiment without the glove, but you put the glove in anyway, just because obviously it's hand-on vibration. And we got the first one, and we went up to a table, just tap it. A normal sort of every day. And then you got the second one, just a couple of taps on the table. The 3 that you've used normally, clear, nothing wrong with them at all. The second one, there's little glowing parts to each one. If there breaks to your blood vessels, or your nerves, or your nerve damage, you know, we were talking about before about vibration, white finger, and numbness, tingling. What a simple way to demonstrate what could happen to your blood vessels or your nerve endings. They have to go a bit now, I can't use them next time. You think it's who, did I? And blood sitting on it. But what a simple demonstration. So I'll put a little video put together, and that video will go on social media and things like that. All I'd say to you is, Locker Project, primarily in schools, it's now available to anybody. All the resources that you'll see online, whether the videos, posters, if you can use them in your environment, if you can use them as part of the training package, if you can use them just to get the message across, and even if you just want to just share the message on social media, please share it. There's key rings there. They've got the hashtag on the back of them for Twitter. And there's a load of Health Risks at Work DVDs from Safety Groups UK. Please take them, because otherwise Mark's going to take them all with him. Get involved, get in touch. If you think of an idea that you want to share it with the hashtag, and I'll pick it up and I'll reshare it, and I'll get that message out there. But if you want to get involved, get involved. Thank you very much.